All
Okay.
set, just a couple seconds.
Okay,
Yes, Todd. Okay, we're live.
there he is. Hi, Todd. All set yet? I have a message on my screen that said meeting is now streaming.
We are all set.
Okay, well, welcome to the Cheshire Public Library Advisory Board meeting. I am Harold Kramer, the chairman. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We have to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, I have the flag. Let me just share that.
Okay, it's very difficult to do with everybody speaking at once, but we'll do what we can.
We'll do our best.
Okay, I pledge
I
allegiance
pledge allegiance
to the
to
flag
the
the United States of America and to the republic
Republic,
for which it stands, one nation,
nation,
under
under
God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Okay,
All right.
Dawn, did you want to
Sure.
Yep.
Harold Kramer,
hear?
Terry Graham. Here. Todd Dixon.
He is here.
He's here.
Jody Heritage,
Here.
Beth Crowley,
Here.
Delana DeSena. Here. Sylvia Nichols,
Here.
Emily Versteeg.
Yep, she's here.
And we have our guest, Senator Mary Doherty. What's your last name?
Abrams.
You did well.
Abrams.
Mary Doherty
Abrams.
Abrams, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome. The first thing we have to do before we go to our guest tonight is approve the minutes from the last meeting. Has everybody read them over? I did. I thought everything was in order, so we need a motion to accept the minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes, Terry Graham.
Mhm.
Okay, Terry makes the motion. Do we have a second?
So
Jody.
moved.
Jody seconds. All in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Thank you. Okay, we put you up on top of the agenda, Mary, and if you'd like to make some remarks, go right ahead, and then we can have some question and answers. And thank you again for coming to our meeting tonight.
My pleasure. So I'm Senator Mary Doherty Abrams. I'm just starting my second term in the Connecticut State Senate. I represent Cheshire and Meriden, Middletown, Middlefield, and Rockfall. I am a former educator and administrator. I retired and ran for office. So this political career is new to me. I served on the Meriden Library Board in the 90s. Libraries have always been a really important part of my life from the time I was a child through raising my own children and even now, although it's been a little interesting during this time. So I was thrilled that you invited me, and some of you I know, and we've met through different ways, and it's a pleasure seeing you, and it's nice to meet the new people as well. So I'm excited to be here tonight and to hear about, you know, what some of the challenges have been for you, maybe some ongoing challenges, and then some that are particular to what's been happening during the pandemic and how you've dealt with it, and just to try to hear how I might be helpful to you.
Okay. Are you in a hurry to leave, or should we just go through our short agenda first, and then we can have Beth give her report? Or would you like me to move Beth up with the library director's report?
I need to leave when I can. I
Okay.
don't want to say I'm in a hurry,
Okay.
but I am also in an appropriations public hearing now.
Okay, well, why don't we just jump the agenda for a minute, and let's go to the report of the library director, which is probably more relevant at the moment. So Beth, if you can give your report.
Sure. So this month, we're still operating at somewhat reduced hours. We're normally about 63 hours per week, and we've been operating in about 33 hours per week to be able to maintain protocols, be able to do the proper cleaning. You know, we've run the whole gamut, Mary, following the guidelines from the reopening sector for libraries. We reopened to the public in September. allowing people to come in and browse and get materials. We did start curbside services in June, and we've been doing that right along as we've gone. And I'll give you a little more data on that. This month primarily, oh, and I should say we're also doing many virtual programs. So no in-person programs, but virtual programs, which I'm sure you've seen. This month, we've been getting a lot of questions about tax forms, and I'm actually part of the Connecticut Library Association, and we worked with Jim Pilatus and the commissioner of the DRS to make sure that libraries knew what the new rules were and that how they were going to be working with taxpayers and residents during this time, particularly the fact that the state is not sending paper forms out. But we've been able to print forms for folks, and they can pick that up either in person or curbside. So that's been good. And we've also referred them to the DRS phone number to request the instruction booklets and the forms by mail. So I think that partnership has worked really well between us and the DRS. Our overall circulation of physical materials from July 2020 to January 21 is down about 48% from the same period last year. But when you compare January 2020 to January 2021, we've rebounded. And the difference between these 2 months is now we're only down about 27%. So with the curbside and with people being able to come in and browse, it's coming back up and we're getting there. And since July, we've distributed 4,340 bags of materials picked up during the curbside program. So that continues to be popular. And as you might guess, borrowing of our digital 5% between July 2020 and January 2021. The challenge with that is that digital materials are much more expensive for libraries to buy. We are not able to get the prices that you would get as an individual through Amazon or the other services that you can get it through. So, that does tend to cause a little bit more expense for us, but we redistributed some of our book money, physical item money, into buying more content and trying to buy more things that had more simultaneous use and be creative with that. For the rest of the board, the library budget presentation is scheduled for Tuesday, March 30th at 6:30. So I'll keep you posted. We'll have a meeting between now and then, so I'll have more information probably next month. And personnel substitute library technical assistant Susan Olson had a position vacated by Debbie Holland last month. And our former page clerk during this current budget year has been recalled as a library clerk to fill the hours left by Susan's promotion. And this last little bit, Mary, I actually did want to make sure that you were aware of. I'm the co-chair of the legislative committee for the Connecticut Library Association. So on Monday, I will be testifying at the appropriations, the education subcommittee public hearing on behalf of the state library. And unfortunately, the governor's budget cuts $100,000 from the borrow it line. And this is the money that towns get directly for loaning materials to non-residents. But what makes matters worse is that we have a maintenance of effort requirement in order to receive federal funds for the state library. And with a $100,000 cut, they will also get a $97,000 reduction in federal funds. So the cut will really be closer to $200,000. So that's a pretty big, could be a pretty big problem. Over the last 13 years, the state library has been cut 31%. So we've had a couple years where we've been flat recently, but previous to that, we've had cuts, we've had mid-year rescissions. So it's been a combination of that. And it's really impacted how the state library has been able to work the delivery system. And now with the borrow it, that could disincentivize towns to serve non-residents. That this is a program that's been in place since 1976. It's one of the best examples of regionalization in the state, if not one of the only examples. So we're able to share materials, and they've put a cost to what it is to share materials, to have, to purchase them, to share them with non-residents, and then we get the stipend. So we let the state library know every year how many non-residents we've served, and then they counter that against how many times our residents have gone to other libraries. And Cheshire is a net lender, so we traditionally get about $12,000 to $14,000 a year through this program back into our budget. And I tend to use that money for off-budget items so that I don't have to go to the town for additional capital expenses. So maybe to make up a shortfall in my book budget, but also to buy things that, weren't in the regular budget to begin with that might come up. So we really hope that if you have an opportunity to prevent that cut, that would be important to us. And I did want to mention to the trustees, if anybody would like to join me Monday night, let me know and I will give you all the details of how you can do that as well. We will be testifying virtually.
I don't know too much about it, but does the state play a very large role in our local libraries? You mentioned the Borrow It program, interlibrary loan. Is that all funded through the state?
Yeah, so the van delivery service that brings the books between the libraries is funded by the state library. It's called Deliver It. Unfortunately, because of the cuts to that program, the cuts to the library in general, but we've seen it in that program, both our consortium and the Lion Consortium have had to add a supplemental delivery service in order to actually be able to handle the volume. So we're actually paying more money for delivery service, but the state service is free. So, but we've had to take on an extra expense of an extra delivery service. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention, because I do tend to think with a public librarian hat, but I can't forget my academic friends. The databases that are provided to the universities are extremely important. And one of them is the nursing database. I think it's CINAHL, or I probably don't have the acronym quite right, but almost every university, state university, community college, will train nurses. And this is the database that they use. So if the state library loses the $97,000 in federal funds, that may come out of the database line. We don't know where the state librarian will take it from at this point. But those databases that the academic universities use for their students could be in jeopardy. So that would be another area that they do support libraries in Connecticut.
One other sort of off-topic question a little bit, even though you talked about it. Is the number of ebooks and downloadable material still at a very high level like it has been?
Yeah, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but we certainly added quite a bit to our collection this year because particularly in the beginning, that was the primary way people were getting materials.
How is the Libby merger going?
It's complete and so far so good.
Okay, RB Digital is gone then, or?
Except for the magazines, which is in process, and then we bought Acorn TV and Great Courses through that. We have that through June.
Okay,
so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Beth or for Mary? Okay, thank you for your report. Now, did you want to say something, Mary? Or
I did.
okay.
Excuse
You
me.
have the floor, or you have the Zoom or something.
Something, one of those things. Thank you for that, Beth. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the heads up. Unfortunately for me, I'm not on the subcommittee this year that oversees the state library, but that doesn't mean I can still reach out to my colleagues that are and give them a heads up about what this means and what impact it would have. So I will do that. I'll be sure to talk to those that are on the committee.
Thank you.
So that they're ready to ask about that on Monday at the public hearing. So, and obviously I'm not happy to hear it because, I think sometimes you have to think about the return you get on your investment, and I just think that our library system is just such a great investment for what we get back. And I hate to say it, it's not like that amount of money is a small amount of money. It isn't, but in the scheme of what our budget is for the entire state, when you look at it that way, it's like, the impact that the negative impact that this could have for, what's a relatively small amount of money is disconcerting to me. So I will ask about that and look into it. So, And congratulations on all you've been able to do through this pandemic and how you've been able to serve the community. I'm sure that that it's very much appreciated. So thank you for all that work, and thank you for being willing to think of things differently and try new things. And I know that's not easy. So I appreciate what you've done. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been interesting. And actually, if you calculate the cost of the books, we usually would put about 5 books in each takeaway bag. So if you calculate an average of $15 per book, that's over $350,000 of materials that people were able to borrow for free. So,
Wow.
during a time when people are feeling the pinch, we're glad to be able to help.
Yeah, people really needed that. And tell me, so you got a subscription to Great Courses and to Acorn,
Mhm.
and then people can access that? How does that work?
So basically, you check for Acorn TV, you check out a 7-day pass with your library card. You log into the app that we use, which is the RB Digital app,
Mhm.
and you set up an account, and then you can just check out a 7-day pass that allows you to watch unlimited programs on Acorn TV. And Great Courses, you just check out a course at a time, just as you would an
Hmm.
ebook.
Oh, interesting. And I did not realize that the digital materials that you buy are more expensive. That it's a whole different process for you. So
Yeah,
that's
particularly
good information to have.
Yeah, particularly downloadable audiobooks. They can be $100 or more. And with ebooks,
Wow.
with most of the collections that you can purchase, it works the way a regular library item would work. Only one person at a time can use it. So, you kind of have to think about, like, for materials, for every hold that we have, every 7 holds that we have on a book, we would probably buy another copy so that the holds list doesn't become enormous. But that's almost impossible to do with ebooks. We can maybe get one other copy, but the holds lists tend to be longer because of the cost.
Interesting. I never realized that. So thank you so much. And thank you for all the work you're doing. Really, really impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you and the staff have continued to do an excellent job. And Cheshire, and we'll give Sylvia and the town council a little credit, has been very supportive town for the library. So yeah, this is a year everybody's trying, and many things are changing, but we really appreciate the efforts, and you've really had to change gear.
It's been fun, though, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been hard. It's been hard work, and the way we operate now has its limitations, and it's not ideal. But it's been interesting to see how creative the staff could be in continuing to serve patrons and be safe at the same time.
Do you think, is there anything you learned through this, Beth, that you'll continue? Things you've tried that like opened your eyes to looking at things a different way?
Yeah, I think the virtual programming has some ability to allow people who maybe can't come to the library ever for whatever reason to be able to participate. So I think having a component of the virtual programming would be something we could do. The other thing is we actually used so we have a couple of meeting rooms that are off limits now because we're using them to quarantine books, and I have a couple staff members because we had to separate people out. Plus, people just can't meet in person safely, with the limits. So we have outside groups that hold their meetings with us, for like the Suburban Garden Club, or we have a group of people that have lost a spouse through their death or divorce who've been meeting as a support group. And we've created virtual meeting rooms for them by allowing them to use our Zoom licenses. And Emily she and her staff will host, serves as the staff liaison and will host them. So we've been able to continue to have community groups meet through Zoom using our license. And I think that we would probably continue to offer that, particularly when we go back, and then maybe we have a conflict with a meeting room, or maybe people decide they don't want to come out in the winter, and they want to do that. So that's been another thing that's been very successful.
Well, when you mentioned the taxes, I immediately had a flash realizing that this was the time of year that when I'd walk into the library, there'd be rooms filled with people getting help with their taxes. And so I didn't even think of that. There's a lot of people that really rely on that.
Yeah. The other thing that we we had done this at one point, but we brought it back. It's called our Matchbook program. And people can send us an email through a form that we have set up asking for readers advisory service. So they may or may not know what they want, but rather than just calling us and asking us if we have a particular book, they can ask us for suggestions. And we've been doing that since July, and we've done hundreds of these requests, and all ages. So parents, kids, adults.
Yeah.
And people have told us that, they've discovered new authors, things they would have never picked out for themselves if they had. And it was our way of trying to help people browse when maybe they couldn't. And I think we'll keep that service going now that we've started it.
That's excellent, because you and your staff really do have an expertise when it comes to that. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, I've read in a couple places that COVID has pushed what would have been maybe 4 or 5 years worth of technology and changes into this 1 year. And that's kind of what's happened.
Well, we all know how to Zoom now. We didn't know that 6 months ago.
Yeah,
Right.
we have, I just looked, we have 70 people registered tomorrow for our owl program at 2 p.m. about spotting owls in your backyard. So yeah, everybody's Zooming, people are signing up. It's
Wow.
very cool.
Wonderful. That is wonderful.
That's great. Kathy has joined our meeting. Hi, Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy.
I'm here.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Happy birthday to Jim.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very
Well,
glad that he is here to celebrate this year after the year he's had. So
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions for Mary or Beth? Okay. You're officially granted leave if you like, but you're welcome to stay.
Thank you, Harold. I just want to say thank you so much. And I look forward to the day that I can, come over and be with you in person. And thank you for giving your time to this advisory board. I think it's such important work for every community. And thank you, Beth and Emily, for all you're doing. And I really just appreciate your work. So, and I will try to do my best to support you up in Hartford. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary.
Now we go back to the regular agenda here. Terry, do you have a treasurer's report?
Yes, I do. And let's see, to date, the library board has spent $335 for secretarial services and $100 for dues to the Association of Connecticut Library Boards for a total of $435. That leaves $815 left in the budget, which includes $415 for secretarial, $100 for professional dues, and $300 for meeting and conferences. So we now have $435 total in the budget still to be spent.
Okay.
Any questions?
It's probably under unfinished business. I'll talk about, I did have a conversation with Tom Mark on the Joy Hostage thing, which is related to the budget, but we'll talk about that under unfinished, I guess. Item 5 is communications. Does anybody have any particular communications? Beth, do you have anything?
No.
No, I don't have anything. Okay. We already did report to the chair in advance, so I'll go to unfinished business, which I did speak to Tom, and he agreed they're not doing anything with Joy yet. They haven't really decided what they want to do. He was pretty indefinite about it, just like we are, maybe wait till the library opens up again. But they definitely want to do something, but they haven't figured out what. And I think they're just waiting for, some sort of possible programming ideas that they might want to do in memory of Joy Hostage. Did you have any other updates on that, Beth?
No, that was it. Although I will say that the last week and a half, we've been getting a number of donations in memory of Albert Sanders. I don't know if any of you knew him in town. So that's going to be another one. And I probably have about 8 or 9 on my desk right now that I need to do thank you notes for. So
Okay.
those have been coming in.
All right.
She is in my book club, Aaliyah Sanders, her husband died.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I'll be sending her a letter with the names of all of the people that donated, but I just want to wait and make sure we're kind of at the end before I put it all together. But I will be notifying her of the donations.
Any other unfinished business? We go into new business. Sylvia, did you want to say anything? Is our town council rep?
As a council rep, I applaud all of your efforts. We have been so focused in the last since Christmas with the school modernization issues and the preparation from the budget that I don't have any new anything. We're all meetinged out like you are. But,
Yeah.
We've just been one right after the other. And
Yeah.
but we keep in touch. And as Beth said, you'll be having a budget presentation in March. What was the date, Beth? Is it 30th?
30th.
Yeah, before
March
us.
30th.
So we will be trying to figure out how to do an awful lot of things with questionable resources, just like you do. One of the things I did want to say when you were talking with Mary was it's interesting over this last challenging year that we have learned how much we can do with less, which is but we've also come up with a lot of solutions like you have to make things work a little bit easier. And so as much as we'd like to be in person, we had a meeting last night, we have one tomorrow night, as we'd like to be in person, we're getting good attendance because everybody's at home and nobody has to go out in the snow. So there are some positives about that. And there are positives to be able to let the community know that these meetings are happening. So I've been involved in some of your video presentations, and I think I signed up for the OWL one. If I didn't, I should have, but but it's, you guys are really doing a great job and people appreciate it. And we can't wait to be able to open up. Maybe we'll be able to begin to expand a little bit for the public going forward slowly.
Yeah, I hope so soon. Especially as more and more of our community becomes vaccinated, that will be.
That's right. And the weather will get better. And I think people's comfort level will be a little bit better. We're very fortunate, as much as the vaccination process has been a little frustrating, especially for all of us older generation who's not so computer savvy. It is beginning to settle out and it's getting into a routine now. And I'm really confident that that's going to happen. And I'm confident that we will see some changes over the next couple of months. So, but again, you guys are doing a great job. So
thank you.
Keep it up.
Yeah, I got my first shot today.
Did you? Yeah, I get my second one on Thursday.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim got his second one Saturday, and he's got the Pfizer, no side effects. We're so happy
That's good. That's
about
good.
that. So
And he got Pfizer. Yeah. And I got Pfizer, and that's what I heard. The Pfizer is less side effects than Moderna, but who knows? We'll see. You know,
Sarah got hers Saturday. She was on the on-call, and Beth, I think she was standing right near you, but she wasn't. She's never met you formally, and she thought that was you because she texted me.
Yeah.
But you know, her arm was sore, but boy, Sunday she slept all day.
mhm.
You know, her arm was killing her. So, and I thought, well, good, maybe you won't have one with the second one. So, because I'm due to get my first one. I'm on the on-call list for Gaylord. And I missed my opportunity last week because I had to take Jim to the cardiologist. So, but I'm still on it, but I'm on the senior center for March 2nd. So I'm very excited about that. But we both have our second on the 30th. So it's like, oh boy, if we both get side effects. Poor Jim.
I was on the on-call list for Saturday and managed to get a shot. I have to say, and I'm not going to make my second appointment on the 30th since I have to do my budget presentation that night. So I'll wait a little bit.
Okay.
But I have to say, and I'm sure Sylvia, you've heard this over and over, I was just so impressed with the way that it was handled. The volunteers were absolutely amazing. Just incredible. They made a very pleasant and easy experience. It only took about an hour, start to finish, and it was very, very easy, and I'm very grateful.
Did you get it here in town? Did you get it just for
Yep. I was on the on-call for the extra doses.
Good.
Right.
So
That's how Sarah got hers. Yeah.
Yep. I am in a not quite the eligible age group, but the one just below that. So
That's okay.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
we had a 15-minute or 20-minute experience. Very easy.
Yeah.
I went to Mid-State and it was in and out and literally couldn't have been
Yep.
more than 20 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Right.
Delina, would you have any comments as a nurse on what's going on with vaccination? Just wondering. I mean, you're a healthcare professional. I know it's not quite on the library agenda, but
So I'm happy to hear that people are getting their vaccine. Some people are having fairly significant reactions. It tends to be, I hate to say it, most of the nurses.
Mhm.
And I think it speaks to our immune system being kind of beefed up from working around sick people a lot, and then we tend to mount a stronger response. So it's not pleasant, but most of us thankfully understand it's something we just need to do.
Mhm.
It's just, you just do it, and because it's the right thing to do. There are some people holding back, that are healthcare professionals, but most are not, thankfully. And I think, if we just keep moving forward, we're going to get there. And that's what we have to keep our eye on, is that light at the end of the tunnel. It's been almost a year, and yet we're getting there. We're moving in the right direction.
okay. Thanks, Delina. Do we have any other new business or business to come before the meeting?
Have we heard anything about replacement for Mark? Has anybody heard anything?
No, I wasn't sure. We had a whole email thread. Thanks for reminding me, Terry. I forgot to
Yeah, I
mention
was
that.
just going to ask that. Thanks.
Yeah. We had a whole email thread, but I don't think we resolved anything. It has to go through the town council to remove him.
That's
has
what
he
I
ever-
understand,
has
but
he
then I was
ever-
told no. The town committee could take him off, but I don't think that's correct.
I don't think so either.
That's not, is it, tell me this situation, that this is someone on the committee that is wanting to be removed or?
Well, he moved to Hamden
Okay.
Right.
maybe a
It's Mark-
year
It's
ago.
actually Mark Hostage.
All
Mark
right.
Hostage.
Mark-
And we
Mark
sent-
he has to send a letter of resignation to the town clerk.
I sent him the letter, Sylvia.
Yep.
All he had to do was sign it. I even sent him an envelope with a stamp.
Okay,
And he never returned it.
okay.
And
So,
I saw him twice and
Okay.
reminded him twice, and he's just not responded. He's not done anything.
okay, so
and-
he was nominated by the Democratic Town Committee. The
Nope.
town committee
No,
needs to get on.
Republican.
Republican town.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we need to get on his case and say, Mark, you need to turn this in. And I can follow that up. Because I'm in touch with them. I'll find out how to figure that out.
Okay. Because we've had the vacancy for what, a
Yeah.
year?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, do we have, maybe you don't want to do it on this public forum, but if somebody has the contact information for Mark, his phone or email or something, maybe if I try to shake him up a little bit from the council perspective, it will
Okay.
get him to return that. I don't know.
I think Harold has the information,
I'm not sure if I
his new
still have it.
address, correct?
But
Yeah.
I'm not
If
sure I
not, I
kept it.
can get it from the registrar's office. I happen to have an in there, so,
Right, okay, well, if we can get that, and I can
because-
get it from
yeah.
registrar's office, but I just
well,
need. to-
no, because Sarah, my daughter works. She's the
Okay,
assistant.
perfect. So if you can just
Yeah, so-
email that information to me, then I will.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
see if I can get some information for that, because that should be
Yeah,
filled.
and I'm just wondering if on the website, if his email address is there, or I'm sure Guy Darter must have.
He might, well, don't be quite so
Yeah.
sure. Right, but yeah, we'll
Okay.
see, I'll see if I can follow that up.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Any other business? Any other business? Okay. Well, this has been a very informative meeting again, very productive. Beth and I will try and line up a guest for the next meeting as well. I hope everyone likes the idea of having a guest here to speak about the library or other aspect of the library.
I think I would like to maybe do another staff one.
Okay.
Which maybe we'll, and so we're in March. Yeah, I'll figure out who
Okay.
that might be. Maybe our
All right.
children's staff. That might
Okay.
Can I interrupt 1 minute? I have to compliment you with your flower arrangement. Next time it should be in the picture more.
Oh,
Move
sure. It was, well, it's kind of losing some of its luster, so I was hoping
It looks fine. It
it
looks.
was my Valentine,
It's good on video. You
Flowers.
can never tell.
my Valentine flowers. They're
That's
still
good.
hanging
That's
there.
I was thinking how nice it looks too.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
I want to compliment you on the cat. I can't get over the cat has stayed there that whole time. It's not.
Yeah. He's a
He
special
ate, so
guest
now
at the
he's
meeting.
sleeping.
Talk about a calm cat.
Yeah. Okay, we all set then? Someone
Yeah.
like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion since I just got there.
Okay, Kathy makes the motion to adjourn. We need a second.
A second.
Jody seconds the motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting is